This little kitten woke up excited because today is the first day of school. He quickly went to the bathroom to brush his teeth until they were squeaky clean. After that, he wore his most favorite shirt, which was his blue one. Then he put on his very comfortable pants, and he was ready to go have breakfast. His mom made him a very big bowl of cereal, and the kitten gobbled it all up. After eating, he and his mom patiently waited for the school bus to arrive. Finally, after waiting so much, the school bus arrived, and the kitten got excited. The kitten quickly hopped on the bus with excitement. Finally, the kitten arrived at school and got off the bus. His new school was very huge and cool. He really loved it. When school was done, the school bus took the kitten right back home. When he went up to his doorstep, his door was wide open. The kitten curiously searched around the house to find his parents, but they were nowhere to be found. That's when he spotted his mom in the kitchen. But oh no! His mom has turned into a zombie! The terrified kitten quickly ran out of the kitchen. He was in a hurry to quickly find his dad. The terrified kitten saw his dad in the living room. Oh no! The kitten's dad is also a zombie! What was going on? Suddenly, the kitten's dad tried to attack him, but the kitten quickly backed away. The terrified kitten ran out of the house as fast as he could, leaving his zombie parents behind. He went straight into the city to find a police station to get help. He went inside, but noticed that almost nobody was there. That was until he heard someone standing behind him. It was the policeman. Oh no! He has also turned into a scary zombie. The scared kitten quickly dashed out of the police station, with policeman zombies chasing after him. The kitten soon encountered many more scary zombies while running throughout the city. The kitten went through the alleyway to avoid the hordes of zombies chasing after him. He tried his very best to dodge the zombies trying to attack him. That was when he found a ladder. He quickly climbed it up to get away from the zombies. The ladder led him to a very high building. He could see the whole city below. Then he suddenly spotted an orange kitten just around the same age as him. The kitten was relieved he found someone that's not a zombie. The kittens quickly became very close friends and got to know each other a lot. Not even seconds later, they were reminded that they needed to do something about the zombies so they can go back down. Hours later, both of the kittens started to get very hungry. They had no food in their backpacks. They had no idea what to do. That was when they noticed a very close science lab. They both thought that there was at least a vending machine in there. Both of the kittens decided that they would bravely go down and do it just to get food. They left their backpacks so that it wouldn't bother them while they were running away from the zombies. The second they went down the ladder, they ran as fast as they possibly could, just so the zombies wouldn't catch up to them. Thankfully, they both made it, and now they were safe in the science lab. The starving kittens curiously explored the huge science lab to find some food. Then they suddenly come upon a big, tall vending machine filled with snacks and water. The white kitten quickly runs to find some weapons so they can smash the vending machine since they have no money. The kittens smashed the vending machine as hard as they could, and it worked. They finally got to eat some food and gain back their energy that they lost from running away from the zombies. After eating, the kittens looked around the lab that was filled with a lot of cool and interesting objects. They both stumbled upon a red squirt gun and a note right next to it saying, "Cure the zombies!" The kittens figured that a scientist left this before they turned into a zombie so someone else can save the city. The kittens bravely grabbed their weapons and held onto them very tightly. They were both bravely determined to cure the zombies one by one and save the entire city so they could avenge the scientist who left the squirt gun for them. They exited the science lab with no fear and went in the middle of the city where they saw a zombie. The orange kitten quickly pointed the gun at the zombie, and red liquid came out. The zombie slowly started to turn back into a human, starting from the skin. The zombie quickly transformed back into a human thanks to the squirt gun.
Thank you for saving me, and please help the others.
Now that the kittens know that the red squirt gun works, they squirted it at every zombie they could see. They fearlessly ran around the city, helping zombies turn back into humans. As they were running around, there was a crowd of people behind them cheering them on as they saved the city. Soon, when there was no zombies left, people surrounded the kittens and started to clap and cheer for them and thank them for saving the city. But the white kitten still needed to do one more thing before he was completely happy. He borrowed the squirt gun from his friend and started to run around his neighborhood in search for his house. He quickly entered his house and went to the living room where his dad was. He pointed the gun at his dad, and red liquid came out and went directly to his arm. Seconds later, his dad transformed back, and he was the same again. The kitten was so relieved. After he cured his dad, the kitten ran straight for the kitchen where he saw his mom. Just like what happened last time, there was red liquid coming out of the gun going directly to her hand. Seconds later, his mom was also back to normal. The kitten was so grateful for having his parents back. The next day, the kittens found out that they go to the same school. They were so happy to see each other again. In the end, the kittens became inseparable best friends and were so glad they met each other and saved the entire city. This scared kitten is stranded and homeless. Sadly, with nowhere to go and not wanted anywhere, he lives in the alleyways. He really wants an owner, but no one will adopt him. His only way to find food and survive is to search the dirty trash bags and dumpsters every day. Suddenly, while exploring the alleyways, the kitten encounters a big, angry dog. The dog is very angry, and the kitten is scared. The kitten sprinted in absolute shock and fear as the big, angry dog chases him angrily right out of the alleyways. Forced to go into the rainy city, the kitten escaped from the big, angry dog. He wandered around, confused and lost. He luckily found a safe and comfortable spot to sleep. The kitten closed its eyes and was soon sleeping peacefully in the nice rainy weather. While the kitten was busy dozing off, two gentle hands quietly scooped it up without the kitten noticing. Hours later, the kitten finally wakes up in a warm, cozy bed. The kitten is confused and starts looking around because he does not know where he is. The kitten, out of curiosity, starts to explore the unknown place, but something caught his eye. He finds a long, cool staircase and is mind blown. He soon discovered a nice, eye-catching room that is nicely decorated, and he entered it. There was all kinds of interesting toys and fun objects to play with, and very comfy sofas. Then he accidentally came upon a very big pool that made his jaw drop and eyes widen. He was so surprised to see such a beautiful pool surrounded by pretty flowers. The kitten quickly turned around and spotted a very massive-looking house. It was well decorated with all kinds of colorful flowers. Suddenly, a young happy girl grabbed the kitten and was happy to see it. The kitten was very excited because he's never been close to a human before. The young girl took the kitten back inside her home and fed it very delicious food. The kitten absolutely loved the food. Then, after that, the kitten was taken to the pool, and the kitten had a lot of fun playing with the water. Later, the kitten was given a lot of fun toys to play with. The kitten was so happy and played until evening. Before going to sleep, the kitten took a nice warm bath with a lot of bubbles and played with his new toy duck. The kitten is now going to sleep in his new comfy bed. He had the best day of his life and is very happy to have a nice owner and a wonderful home. Was very amazed by the beautiful beach. He really wanted to go there and have some fun with his parents. He had happily decided to ask his mom if they could go, while holding a beach brochure to show the pretty beach. But sadly, his mom said no, and that they can't afford going to the beach at this time. The kitten was starting to turn sad, but he had a little hope left because he wanted to ask his dad as well. But his dad also ended up saying the exact same words as his mom. The cat dad felt very bad for the kitten. The kitten's happiness faded away and was heartbroken, knowing that he can't go to the beach with his parents. Later that night, the kitten went to sleep thinking about swimming in a beach, and he started dreaming about it. The kitten wakes up and realizes that it was all just a dream, and it didn't actually happen. While the kitten was busy sleeping, his parents talked about how they could save up to go to the kitten's dream trip. They both would add money to a big jar and keep filling it up until it's full, and if it's full enough, they can go to the trip. To fill up the jar completely, the kitten's mom worked extra hard to work a lot and take extra shifts at the salon that she was working in just to make the kitten's dream come true. The kitten's dad did the same thing and took extra shifts, but in the fish market, which is where he worked for hours and hours to finally get his salary. Time by time, and every month they would fill up the jar with a bunch of hard-worked money. And slowly the jar was filling up with more and more money. On the final day, both parents filled up the jar, and it was finally full enough. The parents told the kitten about the news and how they can go to his dream trip since they have enough money saved up. The kitten was very happy when he heard the news and started to cheer joyfully. Next morning, they packed their suitcases and went to the airport very early in the morning, and now they're finally on their way to the beach. The airplane safely landed, and now they're at the airport. Soon they're going to the beach to have some fun. The curious kitten started looking around the airport, and he came upon a glass window that caught his eye. It was a very beautiful view of a sunny beach. Whoa. It reminded him of the ones he saw on TV. Later that day, he and his family finally went to the beach. They were all very excited and surprised by the beauty of the beach. There were many people laying down, playing, swimming, and doing all kinds of things. Mom Cat was happily reading a magazine about the beach while she is sitting down and resting in her colorful chair. The happy kitten and his dad were building a very cool-looking sandcastle and playing with the soft sand. His dad helped him build a strong, big sandcastle so that it wouldn't fall over. After finishing with the sandcastle, they played a very fun game of tag. But then, the curious kitten got distracted by the very cool seashells next to the water. Then the kitten jumped into the water and started splashing water everywhere. Right after that, the kitten spotted a lot of colorful beach balls, so he tossed them around and was having so much fun. As time passed by, the small kitten got tired from playing so much, so he lay down in his mom's blanket. The kitten had so much fun playing at the beach. He is very grateful for such nice and hard-working parents for making his dream trip come true. This kitten was a very good kitten, and he always listened to his parents no matter what. He would also do well in school and pay attention to the teacher and get very good grades. He would also behave well outside of school and home too. He would never litter outside, anywhere. He would always throw his trash in a garbage can. He would always be determined to finish his homework the second he gets home. He never had a missing or late assignment, ever! After eating, the dishes would be washed and cleaned by him. He would never leave his mom to do the dishes. It was his way of thanking his mom for making him food. Unlike any other kids, he could do his own laundry as well. Every week he would have clean, organized clothes. He would also spend a lot of time with his wonderful, loving parents. He would always find the time for them and thank them for everything they have done. His parents were the most important people, and he loved them more than anyone he ever loved. But this kitten was completely the opposite of what you call good. He would never ever listen to what his parents say at all. He was addicted to into video games to the point where he would play at school as well. He never ever got good grades, but he never cared. He was way worse when he was outside, always littering and never throwing his trash in a garbage can, even when there was one right next to him. The most thing that he despised was being forced to do his homework after school. He never finished an assignment at school or at home. After eating, he would never even thank his mom or help her do the dishes. As usual, he would run back to his addictive video games. His laundry was another thing that he really hated. He never cared about it, so he would just leave the pile of clothes for his mom to do. He would almost never spend any time with his parents at all. He would always choose his video games or devices over his parents any day. The next day, both of the kittens were at school when something surprising was announced by the teacher. It was announced that they would be doing a project that was very important, and they would work with a partner. Surprisingly, the teacher paired both of the kittens together to work on the project. The kittens have never partnered up before. The kittens decided that they would do the project in the brown kitten's house. They took out their supplies, which was mostly some colorful markers, and a very big white empty poster that the teacher gave them to finish. So then, they started to begin their project and decorate their poster. Finally, both of the kittens' hard work paid off since they were done with their project. They decorated it very nicely, and the brown kitten actually tried his best to help. The kittens started to clean up, and they realized that they like working with each other. Suddenly, the brown kitten's mom was calling them and telling them that lunch was ready. The brown kitten starts yelling at his mom, telling her that he's not hungry and that he doesn't want food. The white kitten was shocked to see him yelling at his mom. The white kitten starts to tell his friend to not yell at his mom so rudely because his mom worked very hard to make the food, and she wasted her time making it since he doesn't want to eat it. The brown kitten suddenly starts to feel very bad for being so rude to his mom. Both of the kittens quickly dashed to the kitchen and gobbled up all the delicious food as fast as they could. After eating, the brown kitten helped his mom and washed the dishes for the first time ever. After that, they both went back to the brown kitten's room. That's when the white kitten spotted a paper on the ground, so he picked it up. It was an undone homework assignment from school that the brown kitten got an F on. The brown kitten started to explain how the homework assignment was hard for him. He didn't pay attention in class, and that's how he got a bad grade. But the white kitten told his friend that he can help him finish the homework assignment so he can turn it in tomorrow and get a better grade. The white kitten helped his friend with the homework assignment, and the brown kitten was actually starting to slowly understand the problems. The brown kitten was finally done and was so happy that he finished and understood the assignment. The brown kitten hugged his new friend really hard and thanked him for helping with the assignment that he couldn't do. Then the brown kitten asked his friend if he could organize his clothes with him since there was too many. The white kitten happily said yes, and he was happy to help his friend. They started to organize the clothes one by one and took their time to make them look very neat. The kittens finally finished organizing the clothes very neatly. The brown kitten was very happy because his room looked clean for the first time, and he really liked that. After that, the kittens went out for a walk since it was such a pretty sunny weather outside. They both ran to a nice, beautiful park and started to take a peaceful walk. Suddenly, while they were walking, the brown kitten dropped a crumbled tissue. He said that they can just leave it there and continue walking. But the white kitten started to explain how littering is really bad for the earth and the environment. The brown kitten didn't know this at all, so he grabbed his trash and threw it in a nearby garbage can. The kittens went back home and waved goodbye and hoped to see each other tomorrow at school. Next day at school, the brown kitten turned his finished homework at the teacher's desk and hoped for a much better grade this time. After recess, he was surprised to see his finished homework on his desk with a big A in the middle. He couldn't hold it in any longer and started to cheer happily in the middle of the class. His friend saw him and joined him as well. He was very happy that his friend got a good grade. Seeing this, the brown kitten started to do more right things. When his parents called him instead of yelling rudely, he would talk nicely. And of course, he would always be happy to do his homework and turn it in on time. He earned very good grades because of that. Every single day, after eating, he would always help his mom by washing the dishes neatly. He started to do his laundry on his own as well. He enjoyed organizing his clothes and having a clean room. Every time he had trash, he wouldn't leave it on the ground, but instead he would throw it away in a nearby garbage can to prevent the environment from turning bad. He learned all of these useful and right things by his dear friend. The brown kitten was very happy to meet the white kitten, since his life got so much easier learning good manners. These kittens are so happy because they are going on a camping trip together for the first time. Now they are waiting for the bus to arrive so they can get on. Finally, after waiting, the bus arrived and they all hopped on happily. They chose one seat, but ended up sitting together. Soon, after hours of sitting on the bus, they finally arrived during the night. They were so excited to finally get off and see the forest. They got off the bus and went straight to the forest, which was so beautiful and peaceful at night. They picked out the place that they wanted so they could soon start their fire and set up their tent. The brown kitten went into the forest to go pick up some sticks to start the fire. When he was done, he had a handful of sticks and was ready to go start the fire. After that, the brown kitten and his friend smashed two rocks together so it would create a spark. By creating the spark, it could slowly get a fire to start. The kittens were so proud of themselves because that was the very first time they have ever created a fire. They sat down and started to admire their beautiful creation. While they were busy creating the fire, their friend, on the other hand, finished setting up the tent, all by himself. After all that hard work, they decided to treat themselves with freshly roasted marshmallows. They were enjoying the delicious taste and the fun time they were having together. But suddenly, a very scary noise came from the forest right behind them. The kittens were confused and started to get creeped out. But they decided to ignore it and went back to having fun thinking it was just some lost animal. Finally, after having so much fun eating marshmallows and talking to each other, they decided that it would be best to wrap everything up and slowly get ready to sleep. Interrupted by scary sounds from the forest, the brown kitten woke up confused. He remembered hearing the same sounds when he was roasting marshmallows with his friends. He started to take a walk and went deeper and deeper into the forest without knowing. He was really curious about the scary noises and wanted to know where it was and who is behind it. As he went deeper into the forest, the scary sounds started to get more louder and clearer by every step he took. He was creeped out by it, but he wanted to know what it was and why it was happening, so he kept going on bravely. That was until he heard the voice right above him. He could feel something uncontrollably breathing loudly and making scary sounds. He found who was behind all of it. But was it really worth finding out? No! The kitten quickly backs away from what seems to be a dangerous zombie right in front of him. When he got the chance, he quickly took it and ran away as fast as he could. He was so scared, he didn't even dare to look back. Even though the kitten ran with all his might and fastest speed, the zombie somehow surprisingly catched up to him and was running right beside him like nothing. The strong, muscular zombie grabbed the kitten by his hand and held him tight, not letting him go. The kitten was now trapped. In the morning, the two kittens woke up confused, looking around. They looked everywhere, and their friend was surprisingly nowhere to be found. They started to get a sick, worried feeling, knowing their friend just randomly disappeared. The white kitten told his friend that if he doesn't come at the end of the day, then something must have happened to him and they need to find and help him. So then they waited, and waited, and waited, and took a walk, and still waited, until they had enough. They realized that their friend wasn't coming anytime soon. The kitten's prediction was right. Something must have happened to their friend. The kittens were now going to go search for their lost friend and bring him back. They were really determined to find their friend. The kittens started to walk deeper and deeper into the forest, trying to look for clues where their friend might have been or what happened to him. Unfortunately, they didn't find anything or anyone. But they didn't give up no matter what. They had to find their friend. Suddenly, they heard a sound that sounded like a lost animal. But the kittens didn't worry about it because it seemed like it was coming from somewhere far. So they continued to search for their lost friend, not knowing that they were in great danger. While walking, the kittens surprisingly heard footsteps behind them. Slow footsteps, but big feet. They could feel the ground shake as the unknown identity took every step. They thought it was their friend stomping, so they turned around and took a glance, and it was definitely not their friend. The kittens were absolutely terrified of the weird creature standing before them. They didn't even take a second to process what was happening, and they quickly dashed away from the monster and started to run for their lives. The monster didn't think twice and ran after the two small, fast kittens, trying to capture them. His footsteps were so loud that anyone across the forest could hear it. The fast, speedy kittens started to slowly lose the monster. Luckily, they were still running even though the monster was far behind them. While they were running, they came across and found a perfect thick tree to hide behind. They quickly hid and stayed still and made no sound, so the monster wouldn't hear or see them. They stood there for some time and realized that maybe the monster was finally gone. They silently walked out from behind the tree and noticed that the monster was finally gone. They quietly tiptoed to check and look around. While tiptoeing, they found some very large sticks on the ground and picked them up. They both knew this would be useful for protection if they see a monster again. Then they both suddenly realized that they were supposed to find their lost friend and bring him back. Next time they see a monster, they would not be afraid to fight it. They marched across the forest loudly, without any fear while carrying their sticks. They were determined to bring their best friend back, and they would do absolutely anything to achieve their goal, even fight a monster. That's when one appeared right behind them while they were marching. The zombie walked into the kittens during the wrong time. The kittens were absolutely not going to run away like last time. They would fight until they won. The white kitten told his best friend that he will fight the zombie because he was really angry. His best friend agreed to his idea and watched him fight the zombie. The kitten then bravely went up to the dangerous zombie and asked him to surrender at once. But the evil zombie didn't listen to what the kitten said and tried to attack him. The kitten had enough. He slashed the zombie hard in the stomach with his sharp stick. The zombie started to painfully bleed from its stomach and fell to the ground on his knees. The little kitten made it very clear to the zombie that if he tries to mess with him or his best friend again, then he will definitely destroy him. After winning the crazy battle with the zombie, the kittens got back on track and ran across the forest trying to find their lost friend. That's when they realized there was a whole horde of zombies behind them. They messed with the wrong zombie, and now all of his friends will destroy the kittens. The terrified kittens started to run as fast as they could, only thinking about saving their lives while being chased. The yellow kitten lost so much energy by running so fast to the point where she was getting behind and far from her friend. That's when she lost focus and tripped right into a small, thick log. She sprained her ankle and couldn't stand. The yellow kitten tumbled on the ground and laid there terrified of what's going to happen. Unable to stand, she screamed and yelled as loudly as she could for help so her friend could hear her. But unfortunately, it was too late. The white kitten was so focused on running faster than the zombies that he didn't even notice his friend falling or being gone. That's when he realized that the zombie sounds were finally gone. Then he realized that his friend was gone as well. Without any hesitation, he quickly ran back to find his friend and hoped she was okay. When he got there, he stood frozen, and his jaw dropped in half and was absolutely flabbergasted because of what he saw. He started to cry out of complete shock. Oh no! His best friend has turned into a scary zombie. She had green zombie skin and had long, sharp teeth with a frowning, evil face. Out of nowhere, she slowly lifted up her hands and pointed directly at her friend. Right after that, the zombies behind her started to run towards the white kitten. The terrified kitten didn't know what to do, so he dashed away trying to outrun the zombies. However, the zombies were faster than the kitten and were already catching up to him. The kitten needed to find somewhere to hide quickly. Right at that moment, something big catched his eye while he was looking around. It was a huge, dark black castle that seemed good for protection. The kitten started to run in that direction, slowly getting closer to the castle. He quickly ran into the castle and banged the door shut all the way so the zombies couldn't get in. After escaping the zombies, the kitten was curious to see and explore the castle, so he walked to look around. He noticed how old the castle was because of the creaky sounds the floor made. While walking, the kitten heard some echoing banging sounds from afar. He quickly realized what direction it came from and followed the sounds as they got more louder and clearer. The sounds led the curious kitten to a big black open door. The kitten bravely entered the door, and inside he saw a huge library. But it wasn't just a normal library. It was abandoned and very dirty and also old. The banging sounds were so much louder now that he was getting really close to it. The kitten started to slowly follow the sounds and explore the library. Suddenly, he heard it right next to a bookshelf, which was dangerously close. He hid behind the bookshelf to see what it was. Oh my gosh! It was his best friend in a cage yelling for help this whole time. The kitten quickly ran to his friend to find him in a square-shaped cube. The brown kitten told him to open the cage with the key on the floor. The kitten grabbed the key and tried to quickly open the lock. Thankfully, it opened, and his friend was finally free. They quickly ran to each other and hugged each other tightly, as hard as they could. They were so worried for one another and so happy they are back together. The white kitten started to explain how their other best friend turned into a scary zombie while they were looking for him. The brown kitten started to explain how there's tons of potions in this castle that can cure their friend. But there was an evil clown walking around, so they had to be careful. Slowly, the kittens walked around the messy library, trying to make no loud noises, so the clown couldn't hear them. Finally, they found the exit and got out of the library, and now they had to quietly find the potion room. That's when the white kitten's stick loudly hit the floor. He quickly picked his stick back up, hoping the evil clown didn't hear that. For a moment, they both stood frozen, making sure if the clown actually heard them or not. But oh, were they in big trouble. The kittens heard heavy footsteps behind them and knew they were doomed. They could feel the clown slowly approaching them and getting closer. They were too scared to move an inch of their body. They could tell by his footsteps that he was very mad. Suddenly, the brown kitten aggressively tried to take away the stick from his friend. He told his friend that he will fight the clown so they can escape. He will help his best friend since he helped and found him. Without any fear, the little kitten went up to the clown and bravely stood there. He showed the clown that he is not scared and isn't afraid to fight and win. The clown tried to grab the kitten and his stick when suddenly a horde of rats dashed in. The fat clown quickly backed up and started panicking with the rats roaming around. He tried to stretch his arm and grab the kitten, but he couldn't because of the rats. The clown was afraid of rats. He kept bumping into the walls and backing up while the rats tried to get closer to him. That's when he bumped into a window while one tried to jump on his leg. And then boom! The terrified kitten just saw the fat clown fall right off the window. He went up and climbed the edge and looked down to see the clown's body. Without the clown, the kittens could now peacefully search for the right potion. Finally, after searching for hours and hours for the one and only potion, they found it. They decided to put it in a red squirt gun so it would be easy to spray. Finally, they were out of this haunted castle and were going to save their friend and cure her. They angrily stomped out of the dark castle and knew they would never, ever come back. They fearlessly walked around the whole forest, not afraid of anything that comes across them. They were determined to save their best friend and get out of here before it's too late. That's when they stood frozen, shocked, looking at what's in front of them. It was their best friend wandering the forest, all alone with no other zombies. The white kitten knew this was the perfect time to spray the potion. So he did and sprayed all the potion on his friend. The potion flew across the air and landed perfectly right on her face. Yes! She turned back into a kitten. The potion worked. The two kittens quickly ran over to give their best friend a big happy hug. They were all so happy she was cured and back into a kitten. They all knew they could trust on each other whenever something bad happened. After all the hugging and happiness, they all knew they had to get out of this dangerous and scary forest and never ever come back. After running miles and miles, they were finally out of the dangerous forest and on the road. The kittens knew how much danger they put themselves in and how they risked their lives just for a camping trip. They would never go out to dangerous places without knowing what's going to happen. These two kitten best friends were off to a jungle adventure. They were so excited to explore every part of it. Suddenly, the jungle turned gray and gloomy, and it looked like a big storm was coming. The sun's brightness disappeared, leaving the jungle very dark. That's when heavy rain came pouring down, and the jungle was now wet. A thick lightning strike appeared right above the helicopter while it was flying. And then, boom! The lightning strike turned into an explosion, also causing the helicopter to explode as well. The helicopter was going down real fast. It was soon going to hit the ground really hard. When the kittens woke up from being unconscious, they were so confused on what happened. They didn't remember anything that happened before. And that's when they wandered around and saw the helicopter. It was absolutely destroyed into pieces. There was no way they could fix that. How would they get home without the helicopter? The kittens had no idea what to do now. Their helicopter crashed and is destroyed, and now they are stranded in a jungle. The kittens started to walk together, hoping they magically find a way out of the jungle quickly. That's when a group of colorful parrots started to gather and fly around above them. The parrots were surprised to see new visitors. The parrots took the kittens to all kinds of places. First, they crossed over an interesting, long but fun bridge. Then the parrots led them to a beautiful, huge waterfall with an absolutely amazing view. After that, they walked on ropes high above pretending to be monkeys and tried not to fall. The excited kittens marched happily with the parrots as they continued guiding them to fun places. While walking, the kittens noticed muddles of blood on the ground. They didn't know how to react to this. As they kept walking, they saw an incredibly long trail, and it was blood as well. They started to see blood on the tree barks as well. They were starting to wonder if this jungle is even safe. Many of the rocks ended up having blood on them too. The kittens were now terrified and wanted to get out of the jungle. Out of nowhere, they heard the most loudest, terrifying roar they've ever heard in their whole entire lives. What they didn't know is that this jungle had dinosaurs. The king of the jungle, which is the T-Rex, does not like visitors in his home. The T-Rex is furious and mad at the kittens for invading his home. The kittens froze instantly when they saw the ginormous dinosaur standing right before them. They didn't know if they should run or stand still. They were too frightened to do anything. They knew the best choice was to run out of there as fast as they can, so they dashed right away and ran before the dinosaur could catch up to them. If they knew this was going to happen, they would have never gone to the jungle. Surprisingly, the fast, huge dinosaur catched up to the small, speedy kittens in just a few seconds. You could tell the T-Rex was furious and wanted to eat the kittens. The kittens didn't give up and didn't look back. All they were focused on was getting somewhere safe quickly. While they were running, they spotted a small little cave that was perfect for protection. They hurried inside the little cave before the dinosaur saw them. Then they realized that this was not a small cave. It just had a small entrance. The confused dinosaur stood right outside the cave, wondering where the kittens went. He stood there and listened carefully to find where they were. But the kittens were not going to get caught anytime soon. They were dead silent, covering their mouths inside the cave. The T-Rex listened and looked around for a bit more, but eventually gave up and started walking away. The kittens stayed inside the big cave for hours and hours until it was dark outside. They both decided to sleep in the cave because it was the safest option. So they got comfortable and tried to go to sleep. They woke up in the morning and were absolutely starving. They wanted to eat something so bad. So they both quietly stayed silent and thought about what they should do. Then the kittens talked about what they should do and their plans in mind. The white kitten gave ideas on how they should get food, while the orange kitten gave ideas on how they can get out of the jungle. First, the kittens went outside the cave to check if the dinosaur was still there, but luckily he was gone. So they decided to not waste their time and get started on their first plan, which was to carve out a big SOS sign on the mud so they could get help if anybody's seen it. After they were done with the SOS sign, they moved on to their next plan, which was to look for food since they were starving. That's when they came across some very big bugs. They once heard that people sometimes eat bugs, but absolutely not. They slowly backed away, knowing well they would never eat or even touch a bug. They were so disgusted by the bugs, they just wanted to move on and find something else to eat. The next thing they saw was a colorful berry bush filled with all kinds of berries. They looked at the berries for a long time and tried to decide if they should eat them or not. They both grabbed some and looked at them up close. But they got suspicious and thought, what if they were poisonous? They decided not to eat the berries to be safe and were hoping they would find some actual food. Suddenly they saw something so incredible, it made their jaws drop. What they saw was a huge egg. It was 10 times bigger than a normal-sized one. The kittens never seen anything like it. Together, the kittens started to slowly try and pick up the big egg. They carried it while walking and were now ready to head back to the small cave. While walking, they heard the dinosaur's terrifying roar again. They both instantly froze and were so scared of getting chased like last time. That's when they realized that the huge, furious dinosaur was right behind them the whole time. The kittens quickly dashed right out of there without saying a word. The last thing they wanted was to be eaten by a dinosaur. Suddenly, the white kitten realized that the egg was the dinosaur's. He quickly told his friend to put the egg down. The orange kitten put the egg down gently but fast. The kittens hoped the dinosaur would stop chasing them since they gave him his egg back. But the dinosaur didn't care about the egg at all. His mission was to catch and eat the kittens. Suddenly, they both stopped and couldn't believe what was in front of them. It was a helicopter. Someone must have seen the SOS sign the kittens drew. They quickly ran to the helicopter as fast as they could, and when they got there, they hopped right in. The helicopter slowly started to rise, and the kittens could now see the furious dinosaur right outside the window. They quickly flew away and said goodbye to the jungle and dinosaur forever! This kitten is very obsessed with fast food. He goes to fast food places several times a week. Fast food is his favorite thing in the entire world. He loves it and will never stop eating it. Never! And he never considers drinking fresh, healthy water. He would always be drinking cups of soda day and night, no matter what. Sadly, he wasn't any better at home. He was never productive, and all he did was watch TV and binge eat all day long. After that, he would go to sleep for the rest of the day and sleep for hours and hours to the point where it was unhealthy. His favorite sport was basketball, and each week he would go to the court to play. He really enjoyed his time playing and would always have fun. But the sad thing was that he got upset since his weight would always hold him back. Whenever he tried to run and dribble at the same time, he would always get nervous that his weight might let him down, and then, boom! He would always end up tripping and bruising himself somewhere all the time. The other thing that upset him was the fact that he got laughed at and teased in school because of his noticeable weight. At the end of the day, the kitten would always feel self-conscious and insecure about his body weight and felt like he couldn't do anything to fix it. But this kitten was the absolute opposite. He never touched or came across fast food. He barely even eats it. That's because he chooses to stay healthy and eat very well. He eats fruits and vegetables to keep his body strong and healthy. He would never drink any kind of unhealthy drinks. Water was the only drink that he enjoyed drinking since it was healthy and good. And he would also work out to keep his body in shape and stay healthy. Sometimes he would run on the treadmills for fun. Another thing that he did was lift weights. He wanted bigger muscles, so he would train very hard every day to achieve them. Basketball was one sport he enjoyed playing all the time. He would always go there daily and practice and get better at it. He never got nervous when dribbling and running at the same time, ever. He was very confident in himself and his skills. He never tripped while running and ended up getting better every practice. At school, his classmates were very impressed by all of his muscles. They never laughed at him. Instead, they found the kitten very strong-looking and cool. At the end of the day, the kitten was very happy with himself and how he chooses to stay healthy and take care of his body. Next day at school, the fat kitten was getting laughed at and teased during class. He wishes he could stop coming to school forever. Suddenly, he thought to himself that he was done being laughed at every single day. He was going to do something about it so it never happens again. He walked to the white kitten and demanded that he would help him become muscular as well. The white kitten was very surprised to hear this. The white kitten said he would be happy to help, since being healthy is one thing he's good at. So then, the kittens both made a deal with each other. The white kitten invited the fat kitten over to teach him some rules. The very first one was important. The white kitten said to never eat too much fast food. It's very unhealthy, and that's how you gain weight. The second rule was to never drink too much unhealthy drinks like soda. Soda isn't good for the body and has tons and tons of sugar in it. Drinking fresh water was far better than soda in so many ways and reasons. The third rule was sweets, the most addictive food ever. The white kitten explained how eating too many sweets can make us sick and is bad for your teeth. After that, the kitten started to explain how eating healthy foods like vegetables would have a very big impact on your body in a good way. He said the same thing about how good working out is as well. Next, they went to play basketball, and the white kitten explained how doing sports is very good for your body and keeps you moving and motivated. Next morning, the kitten woke up very early for the first time ever. He was always used to waking up in the afternoon. Quickly, the kitten went to the bathroom to get ready for the day. After that, he ran to his room and went straight to his closet and picked out his clothes. Then he sat down for breakfast, but this time it was different. He was going to try a healthy breakfast like fruits. The kitten took a bite of an apple and realized how delicious it was. He enjoyed eating his healthy breakfast and was doing the right thing for his body. After eating his healthy breakfast, he went out to the city and took a little walk and went on an adventure to find the gym. Finally, after a long walk, the kitten arrived at the gym and was nervous to go in. The kitten nervously walked into the crowded, loud gym slowly and was surprised by how strong the people were. The strong people reminded the fat kitten about his friend, who taught him about all the rules to stay healthy. The kitten was determined to work out hard in the gym and be twice as strong as the people. He quickly grabbed the heavy weights and pulled them up one by one. He tried as hard as he could to lift them both up. He was slowly doing it, and boom! He was finally lifting heavy weights. He was very proud of himself for that. After succeeding in lifting the heavy weights, he found out there were rows of treadmills. He quickly hopped into one and started sprinting and dashing like a cheetah. He was sprinting so fast to the point where he lost his balance and fell down clumsily to the ground off the treadmill. He quickly hopped back onto the treadmill and continued sprinting without giving up. Next, he did some tough, hard push-ups several times without falling to the ground and being lazy. After working out hard, he would go and play basketball to relax and take a break. He realized that since he started working out, he never doubted himself and was confident while playing. After having such a rough day, the kitten would come home and eat any kind of dinner as long as it was healthy and good for his body. The kitten did the same thing for months and months. He woke up early and got ready for the day. Then, he ate his healthy breakfast and fresh water. He took a walk in the city and headed straight for the gym. He lifted his very heavy weights one by one, each time getting better. He could run faster every day in the treadmills, slowly getting better at it. Then, he did his push-ups several times without giving up or falling to the ground. After after the gym, he would always play basketball and enjoy his time outdoors and being active. And of course, after the rough days, he would come home and have a healthy meal to treat himself. The white kitten was taking a refreshing walk around the park to clear his mind. That's when he froze still and saw something so surprising that his jaw dropped. It was the fat kitten, or muscular. Wow, the fat kitten had changed a lot during these past 5 months. He suddenly spotted his old friend and waved at him. The white kitten waved back with a surprised face, seeing how much his friend has changed. The kittens greeted each other happily and were excited to see each other again. The brown kitten thanked his friend for such good advice that changed his life and made him feel better about himself. As they started to walk around the park, the white kitten was happy that his friend took his useful advice and started to take care of his body and health more. He was really proud of his dear friend for choosing a healthy lifestyle.